Testing. Okay, so I'm going to be go ahead and resuming progress on this, just to kind of see where we're at. This is the Godot Discord project. I'm going to go ahead and I think at this point we were trying to connect functionality. We were trying to read in data, create the list of server buttons, and then be able to add clicking to add server buttons and stuff like that. So that is what we were currently working on. Wrong thing. Engine div. Okay. So we see different buttons here. Just kind of resuming progress. Let's get back to... Actually, we want engine div here, and then we want Godot. Okay. So, we were trying to load our server JSON path. So we had clicked here. Server list. Here we go. And we had set up our server JSON path. So we now have servers.json, which here contains an array for servers with our data. Let's see. So let's go ahead and actually start doing this. So we had get server JSON, which is opening a file, or creating a file object, opening it in read mode. And then we were parsing that to get a JSON parse result object. JSON parse result. So this thing right here. And then once we had that, we can do .error to check if the parse went okay. And then we can get the actual result. So what dictionary of data did we get from parsing the JSON? So, now it seems like anytime we save the script or anytime we mess around in it, it's actually calling the initialize method. So if I just print test here and then save this, we actually get test running twice. So it seems like it's just calling, it's reinitializing things 2 different times apparently whenever you save it. So what really matters for us, this is because it's a tool script, so it's executing within the editor, which is why, you know, if I switch over to my Discord view, all of these things still update in real time within the editor whenever I make changes. So that's why things are executing. So what we want to do now is actually get our server JSON dictionary during the initialization. So we want to read in those values. So let's create a variable to keep track of this. We will have, I guess I'll actually put it down here. We'll have var, I guess server JSON is just what we'll call it. Or, well, no, we'll call it server data. So the server data will first have var JSON is equal to get server JSON, and then we'll say our server data. Let's see, actually, if JSON dot has, and then servers, then we want server data to be equal to our JSON sub servers. And I want to print server data. So let's see what this gets us. Non-existent function has, oh, maybe I messed that up in base nil. So server JSON wasn't finding the stuff. Well, first I have to say if this is if JSON and, so we really don't need this parentheses, if JSON and JSON.has, there we go. So now we don't get any errors, but it'll still work. So if I'm in, say I'm in load nodes and I do print server data, let's see what happens if I do that. Null, okay. But then if I go to my server list, and if I oh, well, it's not calling that there. Load nodes. Trying to think of where I could. We just want to verify that it's actually loading that data in. We're not doing anything with that. Set friend request. So if I print the print here. Okay, so we're getting nulls, and that's kind of to be expected, but then if I do this, oh, it's still giving me null. Okay, interesting. Well, I was doing this earlier, and we were seeing a value getting read in. And I thought it was something, I thought I was getting some sort of error where it was only not working during the initialization process of some sort. But let's see if I'm actually opening the file. We have our server.js. Server JSON path. I have to do this again, maybe. Save it. Set server JSON path, loading nodes. File.read is not equal to okay. Print failed to open server data. And then we have opened server data. It says failed, okay. And let's double check here that we have server JSON path. It's possible that before this value is getting set up, it's not, yeah. So the server JSON path, the reason this error is happening is because this method is getting called at a time prior to the initialization of this variable. That's what I think is happening. So I'm guessing that at some later time it is getting initialized, but I don't actually know for sure. Let's see. Let's try this out here. Server, do get server JSON for the set friend request count. And when you get the server JSON, oh, actually, I need to make sure if, well, no, we need to, anytime we get the server JSON, okay, we should actually have a variable here. We should say p_update. So then, if not p_update and server data, then just return server data. That's what I'm going to do there. And we can, I can't remember if you can set up default parameter values or not. I don't know why I'm blanking on that. But either way, get server JSON. We'll just say true. So we're always going to update it. So this is in a case of a situation where if there's a certain call where we just want to use whatever existing data there is, then we can do that. Otherwise, we can say, no, I want you to completely reload all that JSON data and give me the dictionary. Let's just see if I can do default to true. I think you can do that. Yeah, it seems like it's working. Okay, well, there we go. That's a thing now. And this starts out equal to null. Well, so right now I'm just trying to figure out why when I run this scene. Oh, wait. So if I do init, if I run this scene, oh, so it is failing to load it when I run it as a scene of its own. So var init, and it calls get server JSON. which in turn, I think, well, yeah, so that's actually kind of expected, I think. Because if you don't exactly put it in here, see, then I'm getting data. So the issue is that this thing is not initialized when the stuff is actually getting executed. Yeah, because it's a tool script that's executing inside the editor, somehow the value that I'm putting in here during the initialization timeline isn't ending up in this variable at the time that this initialization function is getting called. That's what seems to be happening. I mean, ultimately, it really should be fine, I guess. I don't necessarily need to be able to set this from the editor anyway. It's not important for it to be something that I have as an exported value. Not as a tool script. Because if it's, I mean, since it's a tool script, something that would show up in a tool, I don't necessarily care that I can edit this. So, I don't know. I'll leave it as an export for now, but anyway. Okay, so we're getting data. Yay. Okay, that's something. So we're printing our server data, which we now have. Let's, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these prints. And print loading nodes. I don't want to do that. I want to get rid of this thing, which isn't really being used. And actually, rather than changing what this thing is at the beginning of these functions, I'm just going to pass in exactly what we need. Let's see, stir. If you recall, this was about making sure that, you know, this is a string value and this is an integer value, so we want to be assigning, we want to make sure that we have the right type for each of those things. Okay, there we go. So there's another print somewhere that I missed. Oh, in here when we actually set up the data. Okay. And there's another print somewhere. Print. Oh, whoops. Print. No matches. Okay, well, something's going on. Alright, well. Clear. Okay, yeah, we're good. Okay, so we have server data. Now that we are getting server data, say, okay, now that we have server data, during our initialization process, we want to go through all of this stuff. Oh, actually, what we really want to do is we want to set up a setter for our server data. So set get, set server data, and we are just going to have a function p-value. So server data is equal to p-value. And then, so this, right now, it's doing the exact same thing that it was doing before, only now we're going to set up the setter so that it automatically clears and then recreates the set of servers that we are maintaining. Okay, so let's create, we're going to create, so here's how we're going to do this. We're going to create a child that's a VBox container. This is going to be our servers. And we're going to put this here. And now our servers node is going to act as our container. So rather than having like a separate array of some sort that we manage, we're just going to have all these servers. Okay. And let's see here. So during the initialization process, we set our server data, which triggers the setter for the server data property. And then here we can say, okay, my server list. Let's actually create a servers. Copy, paste. We don't need, this is going to be a node path. And then we want a server's node path. This is at, and then this is just going to be server list / servers. Oh, actually, just servers. The root is server list, so servers. Okay. Servers node path. And let's var servers is equal to get node servers. Oh, whoops. Yeah, servers node path print servers. So we just want to see what we get when this happens. Oh, well, the initial setter for this would fail naturally. Say if I wonder if I can check if the ready call has been made. Ready request, not request ready. Yeah, I can't like check to see if ready has been done. I can check to see if get children dot empty, or we only do this if there are children. Well, no, that's not really what we want to do. Is if has node, and then servers. Yeah, there you go. That's what we're wanting. Except it should be the server's node path. Server's node path. Then we want to do this stuff. But this won't end up happening during the initialization process. Grr. Yeah. That's because server list, during the init function when the trigger would be made, the server's node as a child won't exist yet. Yeah, and I didn't want to use an array per se, because then you have to keep up 2 different containers, because your sub node is essentially a container of its children nodes. Okay. How do we want to handle that? Oh. I'm just checking really quickly my channel. I want to see if there's anyone who's been chatting. Okay, no, just making sure. Okay. Doing some live development is interesting. Okay, so we set server data, but our init is not doing this. Okay, so what I'm wanting the initialization process to do is modify the children, but we can't do that. Okay, so what we should be doing here is get server JSON. I can create a method for func. We really want func ready JSON. So the exact same stuff that we're doing here. We are setting up our JSON data, but we're going to be calling this in the ready method because we are now depending on a child node to exist, which actually makes it difficult to test within a tool script. I guess this is actually something that I feel like tool scripts would be convenient to be able to do. If you could simulate a ready state. Oh, I guess that's actually what request ready is if you want to re-execute ready behaviors. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, but that's not something we can do. We can't tell it to wait until it's kind of reinitialized when it can suddenly see the children nodes again and then call ready. And I don't know why that works the way it does. I haven't looked at the source code for how the tool scripts reinitialize themselves and stuff like that. So that is something I will have to ask about, because it would make development a lot easier if you could tell exactly when your children nodes are going to be initialized and how to access them with from a tool script, because the tool scripts just aren't really prepared for that easily. But anyway, okay, so if you have your vertical box here of servers, this isn't gonna really get in the way of the formatting for the content. So if I, instance a child server button, no parent instance. I was selecting this one. Instance server button. Okay, there we go. So yeah, it just shows up in the same hierarchy as all the others, only now if I create more, they're all contained within my servers, which sees this entire section as its content now. So that is what we were wanting. So I can delete these. Yeah, these things have been spaced out, and that's because servers has seen that it's like, oh, I was a certain size, and so now I've made myself that size. But if I leave and come back to the scene, then things kind of reassert themselves. The containers will move everything back. I guess, it's almost like a bug, essentially, that it doesn't do it immediately, that you have to leave the scene and come back in order for things to kind of shift themselves around. But anyway, so I'm losing my train of thought. So what we were doing, we're still trying to actually generate the list of nodes. Okay. And we need to do it when we can actually see this thing. Well, so the time to do it is during the ready JSON. This is really the time to do it. We just won't be able to experiment it easily anyway from our tool script. But what we can't, so this is ready JSON. So what we do need to do is we first need to grab our servers. Let's see, servers. I think during the time that we set up, yeah, we're getting the node. I should actually have var servers is equal to null. And then if not servers and has node, then servers is equal to get node. So now we're just caching this variable, so we'll just always have access to the servers as a variable. And then, so you set the server data, and now we can actually just call ready JSON, and it'll do our reinitialization of the. That's a bad name, really. that's a terrible name. We'll just call it ready reload servers. So I'm prefixing it with ready just as kind of a flag to say this has a dependency on child nodes. So you need to be in a ready state in order for it to really work properly. Yeah, ready. Oh, but I'm about to do circular logic because we set server data and then I was about to call it here. So we don't want to do that. Ready reload servers. We were gonna, Well, but we do want this stuff to happen anytime you set that property though. Get server JSON. I'm trying to think of the timeline here. We have a server data variable. Get server JSON is happening within this function space right here. But I'm not sure whether it should be in here or set up as the setter, or how we should be calling things, what the order should be. Let's see. Func ready reload servers. So we have something that says I'm going to add a server. So then you set server data. Well, for that you would actually have, yeah, this is a dictionary, right? Set server data is equal to that. Right, because we had a setter for our server data. Okay, I'm trying to think here of what we're doing. So the step one is that if we say, so we're either going to be adding a server, or the second option is that we're going to be reloading our entire list of servers. Well, honestly, we're going to be reloading the servers anytime we add a server. If we make any change to our server space, then we're going to be reloading all the servers. That's just kind of the easiest way to program it, and it's not really going to be that cost intensive because you're not going to be changing the number of servers you have a lot. That just, yeah, it's not going to happen that often and not that quickly, so that's perfectly fine to do. So if you add or remove a server, then you're going to reload all the servers. So that means here we have some sort of operation that's going to be happening in terms of an assignment of some kind. And that assignment is going to be to the children of the server's node. So you'd have to have a dedicated function for like updating the children. And then that method that is updating the children will take in parameters for how it's updating information. Like if it's a remove, it's going to be which one am I removing? And then once it does that, it'll be editing the server data. So really, if you write to the server data, that should be something that updates the JSON data, right? At least that's what it sounds like to me. And then you might have the getter get server JSON cause it to, if you say, hey, I want the server data, get server JSON would actually refresh things. Man, now I'm just confusing myself as far in terms of like whether we want to be creating a like what if our variable is, do we want to cache the data or do we want to fetch it freshly every single time? Because if we have a getter that just constantly grabs fresh data all the time, and then we have a setter that you set a dictionary to it and it automatically saves that data to the JSON file and serializes it again, that would be something that I'm kind of thinking about here. So we still want to have dedicated functions for adding or removing. Why don't I just go ahead and create that? I still need to figure out all the details of how that would work, but how this function is involved, because I don't want to have like any sort of circular logic that jumps from the reloading of the data and the servers and then jumps back to setting the data and then causes it to ping back and forth. We don't want to end up in a situation like that. So okay, I'm gonna do func. Got all these people. Oh crap, wrong thing. Let's see here. Okay, so func add server. We need the name of the server, and we need the icon. That's all the information we're containing right now, at the moment. And then we have func remove server, and we will just go with the name for now. And I can just search for the one that has that name. Again, we're not going to have a very long list of servers, so it's the performance is a non-issue. Okay, so in the case of adding a server, we are going to create a button. So server server is equal to server button dot new. I do have server button. No, I don't. Server button is not a constant here. Why is this? Have I not made them? I guess not. Server button is equal to preload. Why am I blanking? It was server. No, is it res server button dot gd or yeah, server button dot tscn is what I did for now, and we'll have server button scene. Okay, so server button scene dot instance. So if you add a server, we're going to create a server button scene instance. And then that server button scene, which will consist of a tool button at the moment, we're going to do server.text is equal to pname. Oh, wait. No. We're not doing that. There is no text anyway. It's just the icon. Icon is equal to picon. And then our server would actually have, yeah, so this is what I was talking about. We would need to make changes to the tool button eventually, I knew. So let's just say, for example, that we have load icon. Okay, so let's say that this is our thing. We still need the little pop-up to the right of it that has the name, because the name doesn't show up on here. So we need pop-up. Okay. So which one of these things do we want? Simple pop-up. I'm pretty sure, isn't this one a base container? Pop-up panel, that sounds like what we want, with a panel background. And pop-up dialog. No, that's not really what we want. We just want something that shows up when you're hovering. So create, and then we'll create a script here. Server button.gd. That sounds good. Okay, and this will be a tool. And our pop-up panel shows up, and it's hidden by default. But we want to see this scene. And if I make it visible, I want to move this thing over and just kind of extend it out. And the pop-up panel will have inside of it a label. And that's really all we're going to do. It says it's a container, so I should be able to just take the label and say layout full rect, bam, and it'll expand. Okay. Oh, whoops. I want to move this. There we go. So now this is what that looks like. We've got some sort of name here. So if I take the label and I say Godot engine, that's what it looks like. Okay, so we want to make this a little bit smaller. And we want this text to be centered. So really, I wonder if I can probably use a center container maybe? Center container? And put this inside of it? Oh. I don't know if that's right. Full rect. Hey, there we go. That's what I wanted. And then position this just to the right. Bam, that looks good. So you could have some arbitrary name here. Okay, and then, but this is still hidden by default. So we only want it to show up after you've been hovering over it for some length of time. So we'll also need a timer node. Timer. And our server button. Okay. Var timer is equal to null. And we'll need our pop-up. Var pop-up is equal to pop-up null. And then then we also have our var name is equal to null. Oh, whoops, that's a property label null. Okay. So during our ready, we want timer to be equal to timer and pop-up to be equal to pop-up panel and label, label to be equal to label. Okay. All right, so steps here are, we actually have var label text, which is equal to an empty string. And during the initialization process, we want to grab this label and then set the label text to be equal to label text. And then, what next? Label. And our pop-up. So we need our timer. Okay, so when we have our server button, I want to look at the node signals. So we have, here we go, mouse entered and mouse exited. That's what we want. So we want to what we want to do now is say, if you hover over start the timer, when the timer expends its lifetime, then trigger the pop-up to appear. If you mouse over, or if you mouse out before that time expends, then reset the timer and stop it from advancing. And then if the pop-up is already displayed and you hover out, then also make the pop-up fade, be invisible again. So to do that, we need to first say, okay, connect the timer countdown to the mouse exited stuff. So mouse entered. So on the timer, there's a method, and we'll want the timer is only ready. Is that the only thing the timer does? That can't be right. Timer. What can it do? Start. That's the method we want to connect it to. So start. So we are telling it you need to start whenever this happens, and then connect the timeout on. Whoops. Have the timers connect timers timeout to self on timer timeout. Func on timer timeout. So now when the timer times out, we want popup.visible is equal to true. So we want the pop-up to appear when that happens. And then want to connect mouse exited with the timer and stop. And then also connect the same event, mouse exited, to the pop-up again. Or no, just to self, and then on timer, or on mouse exited. Func on mouse exited. Pop-up dot visible equals false. Okay, so we hover over, the timer expends some time and then triggers, causing it to become true, which reveals the pop-up. And then if we exit, I think I can just do timer dot stop. Right, so the timer doesn't need to be counting anymore. I don't even know if that does it. We do need to set the wait time and set it to be a one-shot auto start. That's not what we want. Paused, time left. Yeah, no, we don't want to do any of that. We do want the wait time. We'll say the wait time is what? Timer dot wait time is equal to, I don't know, like what, 1 second. I guess that's good. I think it's in seconds, I'm pretty sure. What is it? Timer reaches 0. I guess it doesn't tell us exactly. Remaining time in seconds. Wait time in seconds. There we go. Okay, yeah. So timer.wait time is 1 second. And we want the timer to stop. So that's resetting it when it times out. And then, or actually you might not even have to do this if you just tell it that it's a one shot. Timer.oneShot is equal to true. There you go. Okay. So now this should kind of be the feature set that we're looking for this particular scene. If I hit play, there we go. Bam. Would you look at that? It's a beaut, except that it's really slow. So we'll do 0.5. That's still really slow. 0.3 or 2. Like, I don't want it to be instantaneous necessarily, but that's too fast. 3. Yeah, that's pretty good. Trying to think of how it compares to this one. Oh no, this is like instantaneous. I didn't notice that. Okay, well forget this then. No timer needed. Still, that was kind of cool that I got that working. All right. The timer timeout. No, we're just gonna do on mouse entered. On mouse entered. You just immediately do it. On mouse entered self. On mouse entered. And then we'll get rid of that. Okay. So there we go. So if I just go to this. How does that not work? Maybe it doesn't work in the editor. Oh, I didn't make it a tool script, did I? No, I did. Tool script. Why is that not working? Underscore ready. Oh, because ready never gets called. That's why. That makes sense. Yeah. So see, this is probably the most frustrating aspect of doing any sort of tool script development for editor stuff, because you can't properly test the concept of, oh, I just, added this stuff in, what would it do? I mean, you can. If you just run the scene, that'll do it. But it's just like, it gives you the impression that you can just test this stuff in the editor. And in some cases you can, but if it's any sort of initialization stuff, you really can't. So, granted, any initialization stuff you do is going to be the exact same as it would be, if you instance the scene. So it's not that big of a deal, really. Pardon me. Just getting a drink. Okay, so anyway, that was kind of very long-winded for a side thing, my bad. But we do have our functional server button. So that was the whole reason why I made this a scene rather than just a script in the first place, because I knew we were going to have this other functionality that we needed as part of it. So if I just run this, then we are going to get our kind of instantaneous view of data. So now in our server list, where I had server button scene, I'm instancing that scene, and I know that I have this, and I know that there is a script on the server node, the top level node, where I can say, hey, I want your label text to be equal to pname. Or I can just say server.label.text. No, I think I'd rather just say server.label text. Yeah, I think I really do want to do that. Label text is equal to pname. And then I can create a setter for this, because these really shouldn't be visible to the outside world. We want to make these kind of like hidden properties, more or less. Underscore, 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 underscore. And let's see, what label text? Here we go. Label.text is equal to label text. And then you want to do set get set label text. Text. Func label or set label text. So you're getting the gist of things at this point. Say if, has node label text label, then actually you really want to say if label, if not label, and has node label, then you set label equal to label. And then we just say label, well, first, most important thing is label text is equal to p-value. And then label.text is equal to label text. There we go. So first things first is we set the value, then we check to see if we have a reference to the node, or if we don't, is it possible to grab a reference to that node? And then if it is, then we go ahead and get that reference so that we have a cache value. And we only reset the cached value if there is no cached value. So you don't end up having to, you're not doing this hard-coded access through the tree every single time you access it. You have a variable that stores a reference to it at all times. So let's see. Okay, so this is what we're doing here. In our server list, we've got icon. Icon is a property of our server button. That's where that's coming from. So icon here, and we can see that the property name is icon right there. So that's why we can access that property here. Okay, so both of these should then give us what we need as far as making our changes goes. So we created our server, set up the icon and text. Now we need to add the server as a child of our server's node. So again, we're going to check if we only want to do this stuff if we even have a servers, right? So if not servers and has node servers node path, then servers is equal to servers is equal to get node servers node path, and then if servers. So yeah, I know it's really crazy that you kind of have to do all this stuff, but this kind of boilerplate is only needed for tool scripts that are executing within the editor context. Because when I save this script, this stuff, if I do end up calling add server somewhere, there's a possibility of wherever I'm calling it, the other nodes haven't been loaded yet, or they're not accessible yet, or something like that. In which case, I won't have an initialized value, or perhaps even if I don't have an initialized value, the node might not even exist. And I can, try to get the node, but I always want to make sure let's see. Yeah. Well, okay, presumably you should already have it, I guess, if you're doing this. Because we're checking to see if the node exists. So if it doesn't do that, then it won't do this stuff. Oh, but I just didn't want to have to do that every single time necessarily. I think that's, well, because the alternative is to have this stuff happen whenever there's no servers. Like, what if there is a servers? Then I do want to do this stuff. But I don't want this code to execute after this stuff, right? If this ends up failing for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, because that, I mean, that could have, if this line never executes, then that would be because we do have servers, or we can't get the node at the location. So yeah, so if we don't have servers and we can't find the node, then this stuff will execute still, which is why we had that protection in the first place. That's why we were doing that. Okay. Just walking myself through the logic here. Okay. So func add server, and then we have func remove server. This is where we're removing the name. Oh, we still have to actually update our server data when this happens. So then server data is equal to, or actually we just want to take our server data and modify it. So this would be the get operation for it. Yeah, we should really just have a dedicated function for saving the server data. That would be the best way to do it. Server data or sub servers. So this gets the server's value, and then that's an array. So we want to do push back. It should, yeah, it'll contain. This is what we're going to be doing. We need to have, what was it? We had name and icon path. So the name, which is going to be our p name, and we have icon path, which is our p icon. Oh, wait, no. We're actually, this should be icon path. There you go, icon path. P icon path, which means this is also the path. No, wait. This is the actual icon, so we actually want this to be a load p icon path. There you go. Okay, that looks right. That looks much better. Okay. Yes, there we go. And so subservers dot pushback. So we're adding a new entry. The name, p name, icon path, p icon path. That looks good. And then we want to save this. So save server data, which is going to be another function here. Func save server data. And in here is our JSON, which has print, parse. Okay. Well, we have our dictionary. And what we want to do is convert our dictionary to JSON. Oh, I think dictionary might have a method for that. Oh, whoops, wrong thing. Dictionary. Does it have anything for doing that? I thought, I was so sure there was a utility of some kind for converting a dictionary to JSON. To JSON? Oh, so it's just a global GDScript method. Converts a variant var to JSON text. I have A to JSON A, print B, and it prints the corresponding JSON. Okay. Yeah, there we go. So first var f is equal to file.new. If f.open, we had this code here. Yeah, this is basically the code that we want. Copy, paste. So we'll return false. It's really just about, did it work or not? Okay, so var f is equal to file.new. If we opened it and it's not equal to OK, then return false. Oh, but we're opening this for write. So write. Let me just double check my stuff here. File. Read opens the file for read operations. Write operations created if the file does not exist, and truncate if it does exist. That's not what we want. We want does not truncate. Opens the file for read write operations. Does not truncate the file. Truncate if it exists. So we want read write. That's what we want. File. Read write. There we go. Okay. And then we want to actually save our data. So we want to, oh, actually, what am I saying? We actually do want to truncate this. We want to completely rewrite the contents of the file. Right. Yeah. Because we have an entire dictionary that we're wanting to write in. And we're only going to be writing, so yeah, just do the write. Okay. So then we need to convert, so we need to do to JSON. Yep, and now we have our global method there. We pass in our server data. So that gets us our string, and then we want to do f.store string, I believe is the right method. Let me double check that here. File, store string. Yeah, you just pass in the string. Okay. What's store Pascal string? In Pascal format? Why? Okay, whatever. I don't really know about that, but okay, so then we store the string and we f.close. Oh, I never did that for the other one. That is important. F.close. And then even if that doesn't happen, you still want to f.close and then return null. Okay, there we go. Wow, can't believe I messed that stuff up last time. Okay, so getting the server JSON, and then here we're saving server data. So we get a file, we try to open it for writing. If it's false, then we return false. Return true. If not, we f.store string, convert our dictionary to a string format, and then store it in the file. And then we close the file and we return true. We say, hey, this worked. Okay, so we want to save the server data if we make an update to it. Now, the reason we have to do this manually rather than just putting it in the setter of some kind is because when we do server data sub servers, this is not a get, or sorry, it's not a set of the server data. It's actually we are performing an access. So there's a get happening, and we are getting the dictionary. But because the dictionary is passed by reference rather than by value, you don't actually have to set the entire variable of server data in order to make changes to it. You just use an operation to make changes to the object, and that will actually change the object itself rather than a copy of the object, which you would then assign back. So that's the difference between pass by value and pass by references. We actually are just making a change to server data, and that's getting the server data dictionary and changing it directly rather than assigning an entirely new value to the server data variable. So here, we make our change to the server data, we save it, and that's the end of add server. Here, oh wait, no, that's not the end. I missed something. Oh no. So we make our change to the server data, and we have all our servers, but then we actually need to reload servers. That's the other thing I'm gonna have to make. It is a func reload servers. So we'll do that later. So this is the actual part where we would clear out all the children of servers, and then we would go out and parse through all the data and load all the stuff. That's what we would be doing there. But when we remove the server, we actually want to cycle through all the children of servers. So for a server in servers. Oh, actually, well, first we're going to say if not servers, then return false. And then .get children here. So now we're going to cycle through all the children of servers. And then for each of those servers, we're going to say a server.queueFree. All right. Then after we loop through all of those, we are then going to have our server data. So for a server dict for dictionary in server data sub servers. Bam. Now we're cycling through each of those things. We will actually generate our things. I might have to adjust this method as well, because really what we want to do is this stuff should be happening in here. For each of these, we want to create a server button instance, and then have, rather than this is just going to be a server dict dot icon path. It's going to be a server dict dot name, and we'll be setting these things, and then we'll say servers dot add child server. So this will first we'll clear out all the children, and then we'll go through and we'll generate all of these children all over again. Let's see. Oh, whoops! I put this in the wrong thing, didn't I? Remove server. This was supposed to be for reload servers. Okay. Yeah, this is basically the contents of reload servers. And then if not server data, or actually it's if not server data, return false, and then if not server data sub servers, or actually it's if not server data dot has. What was the dictionary? Is it, yeah, has key. Okay, that's what I thought. Dot has servers. Then we also return false. Okay, so then assuming that server data exists and it has a server's key, then we want to cycle through all of the servers to get the respective dictionary. So remember, this is essentially the dictionary that we're grabbing here, because we're cycling through all of the items in the servers array. And then we create a server button instance. We set the icon by loading the path in that dictionary, and then we set the label text, and then we add it as a child of our server's vertical box. That's the reload servers. So this is really about actually, and reload servers should be also clearing out all of the old ones. Yeah, that is where our issue was. Because you have to make sure, so we have to clear out the stuff, then save the server data, and then reload the servers. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so this is right. We want to do this in here. Yes, okay. Or not servers. Then we clear out all the children and regenerate them all. And up here we were doing it right, where we're updating our server data, saving the server data, and then reloading them. And that's exactly what we need to be doing here, is we copy if server. I'm not checking for server data's server's key here. If server and server data and server data dot has servers. There we go. And then otherwise we would return false. And here we return true. Okay, that looks right. And if we remove the server, if not servers, return false. So then we can do for, well, we're checking for the name. And in this case, the name isn't the name of the node, it's the name that is the text on the label that's within the server. But that's really what we're checking here. Okay, so for a server in servers.get children, then we say if a server.label text is equal to pname, then that's the one we want to remove from our server data. Oh wait, yeah, so you don't even really need servers for this. You really just want to modify the server data, now that I think about it. So if not server data, then you return false, and if not server data, if not server data dot, yeah, so it's really if not server data. Oh wait, I know what I'm wanting to do. I want to do if not server data and server data dot has servers. That's what we wanted to do there. Now we can reject that case. So then for a server in server data sub servers. Okay, so now we're cycling through all the servers, a server dict. And then if a server dict, yeah, let's see, how do we want to do this? Okay, reload servers. Okay, I think for this, I really want to pass in something. I want to say new data, pnew data, and then have it be initialized to null. And then if we get through all these other checks, then I want to say if not p new data, then p new data is equal to server data. So we'll use our cached data. Otherwise, we'll just maybe not. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how we want to make a change to our data and then save that data. Okay, let me just undo that for a second. For a server dict in server data, we want to loop through this array, check to see if the name matches, but then we want to erase just that item. We want to remove only that part of the dictionary. I know. See, we'll be getting an array because this is contained within an array, and arrays have an erase method. Array erase var value, so it'll find that value and remove it. First occurrence of a value from the array. Yeah. So that's really what we want to be doing here is server data sub servers. We have a var servers array is equal to server data sub servers. And then we can go through the server array. And if the label text, this is if the name is equal to pname, then we want servers array to be equal to, actually just dot erase pname, or wait, no, server dict. And then we break, because we don't need to progress further through the for loop. And then if we've done that, then because arrays are passed by reference, the subarray will have already been modified, which means that server data will already be modified. So we can then immediately turn around and do this stuff. To return true. Oh wait, so the issue here, actually, so we actually only want to do this. We just want to do this here because the alternative is, you know, we want to return false in this case. If we go through the whole thing and we don't find the name, then we don't want to be saving the server data and reloading servers. We just want to, if we're not making any changes, then just don't bother with any of it. But if we do, then make the changes and return true. Otherwise, return false. So that sounds about right. Oh, I need to close off that parentheses. Okay, there we go. Okay, wow. So that was a lot of stuff that we wrote just to reload data. Okay. Gosh. Okay, so we add server, remove server, save server data, and reload servers. Add server and remove server are both using these two. And then we should be able to call these two methods anytime we want to change the data. And that's really what the interface for that data should be. So ready reload servers, we can just get rid of this, I think. And then, so what would be happening is we would have a ready function, our ready here, and we would just ready the JSON, I think. If not server data. Actually, it should be if not servers, but in this case we actually want to say get server JSON. We just want to fetch, if we try to reload the servers and we don't have server data yet, then get the server JSON. Return server, oh, but I'm never assigning the server JSON here. Oh, because I'm making it seem like I'm returning that data, in which case server data is equal to get server JSON. There we go. Alrighty. Yeah, it's somewhat messy code, unfortunately, but should be somewhat simple to follow-ish. I really need to segregate all of these things. So this is setters and getters. So set get, set server data, that's all that stuff. And then we have a notifications section. And then we have our functions, public methods, remove server, save server data, reload servers. This stuff should really be hidden methods. So that means in here we need to change these two. Underscore, 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 and underscore. Yeah. And then so these would end up being private methods. Okay. Get server JSON, load nodes. Yeah, that looks about right. See, it's already cleaned up a little bit. Alright, get rid of this stuff. Okay. So we still haven't actually made any changes yet, but we had to get this kind of back-end data manipulation stuff handled. So, know we've been going at this for some time. Let's see. Let's just try and see if we can actually get our Discord stuff to generate things. So if I run this, identifier not found, servers. There we go. Try this again. Another thing I messed up, server array, servers array, okay. A server, it's a server dict, right you are. Okay, oh wait, no, it's just server, var server, there we go. Man, so, okay, ready, no, there is no ready JSON. Alright, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Okay, reload servers. Reload servers. No, it didn't work. Okay. Alright, so let us see what's going on here. So we go into this, we're going to enter into this function, if not server data. What do we got here? If not server data is empty at the moment. Then we want to jump into get server JSON, okay? If not pupdate and server data, return save your server data. So we don't do that. We get our file F, which is now initialized as an object. Try to open. We are successful in opening it. JP, if JP is equal to OK. Then we close the file and return jp.result. I wonder if I hope closing the file didn't somehow break that data. JP as an object.result. Alright, let's get this data var temp is equal to jp.result. And then we'll return that value as well. But I want to do breakpoints here. Okay, so we'll continue until we get to here, take a step, and then check out temp. What do we got? Temp. Is it not here? Locals, var temp. Members, why is it not showing up here? That's weird. I wonder if there's something wrong with fetching this value since I'm closing it. Let's not close the file and just see what happens. Temp still doesn't exist. But the error is equal to OK, right? So we should be, so we have pupdate, we have var f, we have var JP. Why isn't this var showing up? Var temp is equal to, or var, just do var a, I don't know, jp.result. We'll just kind of force it here. We want to see what we're getting there. A, okay, there we go. We have a dictionary. That dictionary is servers, which has an array, and that array has a size of 1 with a dictionary value, and that dictionary has key icon. Yeah, so that's all the right information. Okay. Yeah, so that's all good. So jp.result has a proper value, which is, you know, what we wanted. But I'm wondering if doing the fclose is somehow breaking that. So if we return the server JSON during reload servers, and this, I just want to see what happens when we get to there. Reload servers, run. So server data. Does server data have data? Yes, it does. Okay, so the server data gets loaded successfully. Yay! If I take this, or if I put this back in, is that still the case? Server data, no. Okay, so that's what the issue was. Yeah, so somehow the JSON parse stuff breaks if you do that. F.close. Which means maybe I need to do var temp is equal to jp.result.duplicate. So we make a copy of that data, and then we can return the copy var temp, because we don't want to be leaving this function without closing it. So let's see if this works. So we get to here, and server data has data. We're good. All right, cool. Okay, so next step. If not servers, return false. Ah. So servers is false. Why is servers false? This is during the ready callback. Ready for Discord, which means server list will have already been. Oh wait, no, this is the server list script. But still, server list. Servers should be initialized already. Oh, and when it's, well, yeah, you should still be able to see it and access it. Oh, wait, servers just hasn't been set up. So we really want to check and see. So if not servers, then we want to check if has node servers. And if so, then we want to set servers equal to servers. And then else, you return false. That's what should be happening there. Let's go to the reload server, jump through. Oh, crap, I skipped stuff. Do that one more time. Wait, what? Why is it? Oh, well, okay, so apparently it worked. Breakpoint. Why did I hit a breakpoint? Well, let's just quit it. Server list. Get our breakpoint out of there. And we get rid of this breakpoint. Okay, so let's just try this one more time. Boom. Oh, well, that's a misplaced thing. We'll have to fix that. But still, hey, it's all working. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Well, I think I want to see if we can try to move that really quickly, and then after that, I think I'll have to be done for the night. Been at this for a while now. Okay. Let's see here. So we were positioning this to the right. Let's make this visible. Okay. So I think it's literally just assuming that it's going to be at whatever location is that I've positioned it at here. So what we really want to do, see, I'm thinking, yeah, I think what's happening is that the pop-up panel is not associating its position relative to the server button, because pop-ups in general just don't do that. I think, well, that's the end of the time for tonight, so I'll have to close this out. Sorry guys, but it's been a while, so I'll see you all later.